not a good day in the metal world. This has been really heavy on me all day long. It was basically the first thing I thought about when I woke up, but I didn't know when I was going to do a Black Sabbath video. I knew it was going to come eventually, but today we're going to make one in honor of Ozzy Osbourne. Due to his passing yesterday, I wanted to talk about some of his early work with Black Sabbath and my personal favorite thing that he ever did. It's hard to say, really. It's kind of a toss-up between Volume 4, the first album, everything, all the solo work, everything that Ozzy was involved in was excellent. And now he's with Ronnie and Daryl and Eddie. At least I hope. That's how I see it. But Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is a absolute legacy album that you've listened to it, you know it. There's nothing new here. There's nothing that I can tell you that you don't really know already. So, what I will tell you is I think that this is a very pivotal moment in the metal world. We're going through a shift, losing Ozzy, losing Eddie, losing a lot of the legends that basically started this entire thing. It's gonna take a long time before everything kind of heals, and I think basically every band in my collection has been impacted by Black Sabbath in some way, shape, or form. It's very obvious with the thrash metal bands and the doom metal bands, but even the death metal guys, even the black metal bands, they grew up listening to Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Sabbath, Dio. There's all these classic bands, and we're getting to a point now where the original singers, the drummers, the guitarists, the bass players, they're not going to be around much longer, and that's very tough. And I never got the chance to see Sabbath, and actually, my story with this album is a pretty good one, I think, because I was at work, and I knew that the local record store had it, because I actually called to ask, and it really felt like going back in time. But I was working at this shitty restaurant. This was before I got into, painting. I was working at this shitty restaurant that is currently under investigation for money laundering. Need I say more? But I left during my 1 hour lunch break. I got food, took off in my car, went to the opposite side of town. I went in and immediately grabbed this, bought it, and left. Went back to work, finished my food on the way there, and it took a full hour, but I did it. I managed to snag this and go home, or go back to work and then go home later that night to play it. But this was very early on in my record collecting journey, and it's something that I'm grateful to own. I do have Heaven and Hell down below, so I got one Dio album, one Ozzy album at the moment. That's bound to change. I want to get a reel-to-reel player at some point so I can get Volume 4 on the reel. That would be incredible. Same with Paranoid. But yeah, it's a tough day. I don't have the very first Sabbath album, which I've also been playing a lot today, but Master of Reality, everything that he was involved in was excellent. And it's really a shame that he's gone, and he went out with a streak of glory, though. I think Ozzy went out before his name was going to lose any of its power. And if anything, he did the best thing he could have. He basically topped 1985's Live Aid, had the biggest charity festival of all time, and performed with the band for the very last time, and he hadn't done so in 20 years. He hadn't been with the other three guys on stage since 2005. So I wish I was there. I'm sure a lot of us do, but it's still wonderful that we got to have footage of it, and seeing that Slayer, Pantera, Metallica, all these other legacy bands were there. Well, half of Pantera was there to commemorate that day to Ozzy, and he knew he knew, I think we all knew, but we didn't really want to believe that he actually was on the way out, though it was very apparent. And, you know, thank the heavens that he got to do that, because I think his last few years were not good. And basically, he didn't really have much of a purpose anymore. So that was his moment to give back to us and to move on. So, yeah, the master of reality is, man, that was a horrible glare. That's better. The master of reality is here no more, but we won't forget you, Ozzy. I think it's been a hard day for a lot of us. So, yeah. That's it for today. I will give like an actual full in-depth review video of more Sabbath content in the future, but for today, I just had to get some of my thoughts out there, share it with you guys, because I got no one to talk about this with. So, yeah, stay metal.